Again, we're continuing with the chapter number 20, Surah Taha, the story of Musa alayhi salam and Moses, peace be upon him, and the encounter, still the encounter between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we previously discussed, that Musa and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his Lord and our Lord, they were, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's telling him, the message, or what is his task, what's his mission, to go to the Pharaoh and to basically tell him that he need to take out the Israelites from Egypt and bring them back to the Holy Land where they came from. So the story, as we saw, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he told Musa, he showed Musa the signs and how to basically act the snake and how his hand, so on and so forth. Then we came to Musa, he asked his Lord, okay, he need to be equipped with Musa, we said he has a problem in speech. Musa, he said he can easily get angry, and he need, with that being said, he need to be calmed. So he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to uplift his heart, so he'll be able to withstand, not to get angry so quick. Then also Musa has asked also support, like he's in his eloquency of speech wasn't that great, so he has his brother Aaron. He also want to bring Aaron also to that meeting with the Pharaoh. So here is a lot of small lessons. Musa, this is around the verse number 35. This is a very important to understand, that as a prophet, as he is a messenger, or even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us in this story that Musa, he's asking for support from somebody. So he didn't like say, oh, I'm the chosen one, I am the one who my Lord have chosen me, so that means, oh, I am the one, I'm the top, I'm the one, and everybody else. No, he's incorporating, he's just using other people. One of his family, which is Aaron. So he even is not, he understand that this work it need collaboration. Different people doing have different tasks, have different abilities, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have distribute. Each one of us have different abilities. How you manage to get all these people to work together, that's that's the best thing. And that's what really Musa is showing, that he's not a selfish guy. This is you can really understand the character of Musa, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose him. So number one, he knew, first of all, he knew his defects, ability to speak. He can easily get angry, so all that stuff. And then he also he needs somebody like Harun also, he do to give him extra support. And the beauty about that is, which we need to understand, is Allah subhanahu, he knows himself, and then he want to use others. He use the collaboration, he want to be a team. So nobody really, and this is one of the biggest thing, people in every aspect, in every field, they fail because they think like he can do it all. Without you having the right support, without you having the right people around you, you're not going to be able to do anything. So that's a very important thing which you see. He wants his prophet, he's actually his brother Aaron became a prophet. Harun became because of him, because of Musa. And that's a very beautiful aspect of how the brotherhood, you love for your brother the same thing you love for yourself. And that's a complete example. That's what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, love for your brother the same thing you love for yourself. That is exactly what Musa ﷺ have made. Oh, let me make please, Allah, please God, make Harun, make Aaron my son as well, my prophet as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have basically was able to answer his call. Then you see another thing is which we will they like the verse number 33. The reason كي نسبحك, indeed we will glorify you, Allah. We will and remember, as if that glorifying, that remembrance is gonna also support us. You know, so when you glorify God, when you remember God, when you keep remembering God, you're never gonna make sense. And that's very important. Why God asks us to remember Him all the time? Why God remember me? Remember. Because when you remember, the shaitan, the devil, the one who's giving you the negative thoughts, the one who's telling you do this harm this guy, harm this family, harm this gossip, backbite, steal, say, all this stuff is gonna be away from you because you're not going to be able to sin. When you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you remember the Creator, remember that He is overseeing everything, He sees everything. Then إنك كنت بنا بصيرا, indeed you, my Lord, you were you're seeing all of us, you're overseeing everything. Then قال قد أوتيت سؤلك يا موسى, I have granted your request. Oh Musa, I have granted your request. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَقَدْ مَنَنَّا عَلَيْكَ, this is verse number 37, وَلَقَدْ مَنَنَّا عَلَيْكَ مَرَّةً أُخْرى. This is another time before. So we have given you, this is even not our first time to accept or to give you all these favors. So I'm approving all your requests right now, but on the other hand, this is not the first time. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started to bring the story of Musa when he's detailing, or he's telling him what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have done to him, to prepare him, to tell him. And what is really fascinating here, Musa, he was the qualities Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have planted in him. He was so stable. He's listening to his Lord, and he's seeing the favors of the Lord. That's why the Lord right here is detailing what is أوحينا إلى أمك ما يوحى أن اقذفيه في التابوت فاقذفيه في اليم فليلقيه اليم بالساحل يأخذه عدو لي وعدو له. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remembering here the story when the Pharaoh used to kill every 1 year, he will kill the boys, and the second year he will leave them. 1 year he will kill, 1 year he will leave them. So Musa was born at the year where the male boy is supposed to be killed. So his mom used to have like a small boat, or you can small basket or something like that. Whenever she hears the soldiers are coming, she will put Musa in that basket and put him in the and leave him in the river Nile. So one day when this happened, she put him again in the river Nile, and like the rope which is tying that basket, it got loose, and the basket started to move in the river Nile. So that's how really Musa got into the Pharaoh's house. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave the inspiration to his mom to leave him. So mom didn't really go and throw herself inside the river Nile trying to get the basket, but she at the end of the day said, okay, let it be. بالساحل. So يأخذه عدو. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is telling us a very important lesson to understand. يأخذه عدو لي وعدو له. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that the Pharaoh who will capture, and his wife will capture the basket. Indeed, the Pharaoh was an enemy. An enemy to who? An enemy to Musa, because Musa is a righteous man. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have planted in him the seed of good deeds, the seed of righteous actions, and aduwwun lillah, and also an enemy to God. Why? Because he was bloodshedding, killing the babies, killing the babies. He will enslave the Israelites, enslaves the Jewish people at this time. So, and they were, so, the Jewish people at this time, they're the Muslims of that time. They're the Muslims of that time. So they were even enslaved. So when somebody does these actions, these heinous crimes, these horrible actions, become the adu, the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's number one. Number two, the believer, which Musa is a believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the Israelites. So he was a believer. So when a believer sees somebody who is really doing the wrong action, somebody who is unjust, somebody, he consider him as also the enemy of the believer. So again, so when you have God's interest and your interest both aligned together, you'll see things from only one length, the lens of God, the lens of goodness, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala approve, you'll approve, you'll like, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hate, you'll hate, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't agree with, you will disagree with. And so, so whatever Allah disagree with, you disagree with. Whatever Allah agrees with, you agree with. That is what become your interest. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's interest, goes parallel to each other, goes together. So that is what it is. Enemy of Allah becomes enemy of the believer. Enemy or a lover of Allah become a lover of the believer. So on and so forth. And that is the great belief. So if you see a ruler who is unjust, a ruler who is putting his citizens in a bad situation, in a bad economic conditions, in taking the money and distribute it and give it to the elites, and stealing their money, killing whoever have a difference in opinion, they imprison them or kill them. And that is aduwullah. This is an enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the believer supposed to be act against that. That's number one, to relieve that injustice. That's number one. Number two, the believer also supposed to hate that action. Number three, the believer supposed not to follow any orders coming from the enemy of God. And this is what really we see, because the problem is the Pharaoh didn't become a Pharaoh until people who followed the Pharaoh and followed the unjust orders of the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh himself didn't go to the Israelites and he killed the babies. No. He have hired an army. Although these people know that this is wrong, but they unfortunately they were blinded at that time, and they follow the unjust orders of the Pharaoh. So this is very وَأَلْقَيْتَ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِّنِّي وَلْتُصْنَعَ عَلَى عَيْنِي. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He wants anything to happen, He make reasons for it. And one of the things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoken to Sayyidina Musa, He's telling him that I instilled love for you in the hearts of everybody. So everybody was seeing Musa, he would love him. He would love his character. He would love his smile. He would love how he talks. And this is something which nobody can do other than God. Imagine, and I'm telling you, at least the Pharaoh first encounter with the Pharaoh and the baby and Asya, the wife of the Pharaoh. Okay, so this guy is, basically he looked like an Israelite. How in the world this guy will leave him, the Pharaoh will leave this guy alive at this point, this baby alive. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have instilled in the love of Musa even before he was born. I mean, even when he was a baby, the love of Musa in Asya's heart. And then also it had to be in the Pharaoh's, because the Pharaoh, I'm killing him, not to kill him, He wasn't even sure. So there was some kind of love. The hate wasn't that much, because if he hate him and he knew, oh, let me kill him, just a precaution. I don't know, but I'll kill him because I killed already. The Pharaoh killed a lot. So this is even the start. When he put the love of the people, when he put the love of when God wants to, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves somebody, He'll instill that love in the hearts of others. And He will tell the malaika, He'll tell the angel, love that person. And He will tell the people, without the people know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who manage the hearts. He's the one who controls the heart. He will tell these hearts of the people to love that person. And this person will be beloved. Like what happened, and this love was something which protected Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, protected him from being killed by the Pharaoh. وَلِتُصْنَعَ عَلَى عَيْنِي. Indeed, I took you took the exactly direct care. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you, Musa, were cared directly by me, very directly by me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, under my watchful eyes, I was watching over you. That's basically what tusna ala aini. Is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in the next few ayahs is talking about his sister. His sister she went to see what will happen to that basket which Musa in there. So she was walking to the palace without anybody sees her, so on and so forth, until so at that point Musa, he didn't really know. He didn't want to be breastfed from any. They brought a lot of women, different women to breastfeed him. He refused. So many of them, until his sister said, "Oh, I will guide you. I will tell you about somebody who can breastfeed him." So she brought his mom, and his is what. So Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, here we can see another very important message, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't take anything from a person without recompensating him for it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has a big picture. He has a big message. He wanted the Israelites out, and there's a big plan for it. And then the Musa's mom is a mother. She has a heart. She loves her son, and so He recompensated her for that by her even going. She is the only one who was able to breastfeed him. Number one. Number two, she would even get paid for it. And imagine you're getting paid from the Pharaoh. It's probably very good amount of money at that time. كي تقر عينها, so she might feel secure. She will be happy. Her heart won't have that kind of what you call it, pain. The pain is already gone, because you remember when a mother leaves her child, it's painful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, no, she will breastfeed him, so her heart will get back to calmness. Will calm and be with tranquility and calmness to her heart. وَلَا تَحْزَنْ, and she does not be sad. وَقَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep mentioning here the favors He had on Musa. Why is that? Because we have to understand that Musa and all the prophets are humans. Okay? And we are also humans. In order for Musa to be able to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make the claim, or to make him prepared for that mission, He wants to tell him that I protected you so many times. I took care of you so many times. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to be afraid, because anyhow, Musa probably in his way, there's a lot of doubts is going to come. Oh, what if the Pharaoh decided to kill me? What if the Pharaoh decided to do anything to harm me, imprison me, or so on and so forth? So when he realized, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is revealing all the favors, that will give him some kind of confidence. He gave him some kind of ability to withstand, to be firm on his position to deliver that message. وقتلت نفسا فنجيناك من الغم وفتناك فتونا. Indeed, yeah, Musa, indeed, oh Moses, you killed Egyptian, you killed somebody, and we have protected you. We have, protected you from all the sorrow, all the sadness which you have encountered, which you have came down to you. وَفَتَنَّاكَ فُتُونًا means we have kept testing you. We tested you. You went from Egypt to Madian or Jordan walking barefooted. You don't even know the way. We have put you in harsh conditions, into a test, into very harsh conditions. So why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting these Musa or all these prophets a lot of times in harsh conditions, in harsh circumstances? Why? To strengthen them, to give them the confidence, to give them the ability to fight. Because he's gonna go stand before the Pharaoh. He's gonna go stand before somebody who has a big army, somebody he's gonna go in front of somebody who has a lot of capabilities, a lot of abilities. So you have to have the confidence. So to stay there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's preparing him all these years for that. فَلَبِثْتَ سِنِينَ فِي أَهْلِ مَدْيَنَ Indeed, you have stayed with the people of Madian, which is in Jordan right now. ثُمَّ جِئْتَ عَلَى قَدَرٍ يَا مُوسَى And so you stayed over there and we brought you down there. Everything was decreed. Everything was planned for. Oh Musa. وَاصْطَنَعْتُكَ لِنَفْسِي Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, and this is what we've said in the ayah before. Allah is making him, it's the big picture, it's a big plan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling to Sayyidina Musa, I have indeed made you, selected you for my service. I have selected you, and the word sana, I basically manufactured you. The word sana'a, something he put piece by piece to manufacture something. So basically, I made you every situation, every encounter you have went through, every test you have went through, I prepared it for you. So I made you for myself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, so you will be to my service, to serve me in what? In communicating the message of Islam, because he was going to the Pharaoh, he's talking about Allah, talking about La ilaha illallah, there's only one God worthy of worship. And this is what Musa is going about. He was talking to the Pharaoh what he's going about, and when he has the signs, the staff sign, and also he has the hand sign with him. So اذهب أنت وأخوك يا بآياتي ولا تنيا في ذكري. Go, you and your brother, and with my signs, which I already showed you, O Musa, and do not flatter, do not become lazy, do not, in my remembrance. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that? Remember, Musa, he asked for so many things, and he said, so we can glorify you, Allah. We can remember you, Allah, abundantly. Then here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, do not get flattered. Do not keep remember me all the time. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that? Because that's the only, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's asking the people, the Muslims, to pray 5 times a day. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to make zikr, which is remembrance of Allah, because it has a lot of benefits. Number one, whenever you remember Allah, shaitan will have a way to you. Shaitan will put on your heart doubts. That shaitan will put on your heart hopeless. You become hopeless. Shaitan will put in you despair. That's very important. And also, when you remember Allah, that will help you. They help you doing what? Attain a high degree in the hereafter. That's number one. And also it will make easy for things for you to happen. Even in the worldly affair. Before we do any task in the Islamic religion, we have to do what? We have to make dua. Asking Allah. Remember Allah. Why? Because He is the one who's able to make the reasons easy for you. Even before you want a parking spot, you make dua. You wanna go to the masjid, you make dua. You're entering the masjid, you make dua. You want to go to the bathroom, you make dua. Everything has a dua, remembering of Allah. So if you keep remembering Him, you think like He's not gonna help you. And that is a very important thing. So he's keep telling him, remember me because your job, I'm not gonna see you. I'm gonna oversee you from far. But I mean not far for Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he sees everything. But what but Musa he won't have that encounter again, maybe in the future, really, really soon. So remember me because that is the only protection which will protect you. When you say that, oh, you become more confident, you become more focused, that God will help me, God will intervene. If anything happened, God will help me. And we saw this is exactly happened when the moment of despair and the people around Musa told him what? The people when he was parting the sea, he said, oh, Musa, everybody, the Pharaoh's behind us, and the Red Sea is in front of us, and we're gone, we're done. And he said, Inna ma'iya Rabbi sayahdin. Indeed, I have my Lord. And he's the one I keep remembering. He is the one I keep mentioning his name all the time. He will give me guidance and he will give me the miracle. So when he hit the sea with his staff, oh, they were able to part the Red Sea. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go to the Pharaoh. Indeed, he transgressed. Indeed, he was unjust. He was killing the babies. He was enslaving people. He was raping the women. He did everything by which is the same thing which you can say happening right now. فقول له قولا لينا لعله يذكر أو يخشى. And tell him a very kind, gentle speech. So here is a very important lesson for us to learn. When you're trying to remind people about God, when you're trying to remind people about God, when you are trying to invite people for God, you have to be very kind. You have to be very gentle. This is even with the normal people. This is with just the masses of the people. What about the Pharaoh? What about the king? What about the president? You have to be very gentle. You have to be very kind. And this is what God. Why is that? Because God, remember, God is very fair. He doesn't want at the hereafter the Pharaoh come to him, oh, but you sent Musa or Moses, and Moses was so cruel, he misbehaved, he was talking obscenity, he was talking this and that. And that's why I didn't listen to him. No. God, he said he was talking politely, he was talking kindly, he was talking his speech was very, very calm. And that is how you speak to the people, especially when they're even in a higher status. So what? لَعَلَّهُ يَذَّكَّرْ أَوْ يَخْشَى. So he might remember, that what he did is wrong. And what he did, and he need to repent, and he need, there's a Lord, remember that there's somebody created him, so on and so forth. Why أَوْ يَخْشَى? Or he will fear the repercussions of what he have done, the results of what he have done. He might remember that. قال ربنا إننا نخاف أن يفرط علينا أو أن يطغى. And then this is very here, this is like we said. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? Mention me, remember me, talk, remember me all the time. Then he knows he was trying to treat a very, very important anxiety. He was trying to fear the insecurity when you go and talk to a king. And this is what he said. We are afraid that he will be so aggressive. He will be so aggressive with us. He will be so rude. He will imprison us. He will kill us. And he will be act unjustly towards us. قال لا تخافا إنني معكما أسمع وأرى. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, like we said, He's watching. Don't worry, Musa. Don't worry, Aaron. I am with you. I am with you. I hear and I listen. I listen and I hear. So he's given him the same thing. And we said before what? We said before that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enumerated. He told him, I did this, I did this, I did this for you, I did this, I watching over you. So he gave him the confidence. So he can go. You give him the confidence that he has no fear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching over him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching him. So because we said that this is a very huge task. You guys who were like 10 years, you committed murder, you went outside for 10 years, you coming back and you're telling me that go to the head of the state and I had to talk to him about Allah for somebody who's totally like on the on the left side of spectrum, which means he doesn't really know Allah. He commit everything which against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have ordered. He kills, he cheat, he did all the kind of stuff. He's taking advantage of all the people. You wanted me to go on him? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, relax. I did all of this for you. I'm watching over. I will if anything, I'll basically intervene. I'll intervene. So don't worry. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه